Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison, and this is a Kim's Chair solo rant. We're going to just dive in head first today, you guys. Can we stop pretending money doesn't influence our decisions? Can we just stop with that? And it was something I was thinking about after recording Friday's episode, where I talked about stylists charging clients for work they know wasn't executed well, right? And I was like, ooh, I know exactly what folder I'm grabbing today. And that is, you guys, the green folder, money management. Money, 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 money. Yes, this is perfect for this episode because we talked about what happens when stylists charge for bad work. And I want to dive deeper into that. So today we want to talk about why someone who knows better still does it, right? Because I think it's money that changes the temperature, because it's easy to have principles when everything is going well, right? But it's a different story when rent is due, when you have cancellations, or if you're having a slow month.
I got a ton of bills to pay.
Do we make different decisions when we're scared? I think the answer is yes. I think scarcity has a lot to do with it, because nobody says, I'm choosing money over integrity. I don't think we're that calculated, but I know we can lie to ourselves like nobody's business. I know that. We could tell ourselves when that bang is crooked, or when that layer ain't blended, or when that color didn't take, right? You could tell yourself, right? It isn't that bad. I mean, I did all the work. I spent $400, or I'm sorry, I spent 4 hours on this client's dang head. So you're already adding up in your head the cost of your supplies, the cost of your time, and you're forgetting about the end result and the satisfaction of your customer, which is the most important part. So if you take nothing away from me today, think about that. Really think about that. Just because somebody pays you, it doesn't mean they're happy. Meanwhile, when the doors are closed, when the lights are off, the client is gone, and you're trying to sleep at night and you can't, that's because you know better. You know what you did was wrong, right? I say, and we talk about this a lot in church, like real lies, when you realize something, the lies that we tell ourselves, real lies.
Hey, I never realized that before.
I love that metaphor because I resort to it all the time. I'm like, girl, okay, what are you telling you versus what the other person is receiving from you? That's very important. So I want to ask you guys the $300 question. If you had plenty of money in the bank, would you still keep that $300? Think about that. If the answer changes depending on your bank balance, that's interesting. Same situation, same client, same bad result, but different financial circumstances. So, what does that tell you about how you're managing your business financially? Scarcity, I think, has a lot to do with it. I don't think necessarily that it's always greed. I really don't, because I like to think most people want to be ethical. Sometimes they're just not in a financial position to be ethical. You know better. And when you know better, you do better. Again, hoping you take that away from today's episode. Also, I think sometimes it's panic. Most times, though, it's poor money management. Sometimes you literally cannot afford to lose today's service. You just can't. But does needing the money make it yours to keep, right? Business owners, you need a mistake cushion. You do, because we budget for color, rent, supplies, taxes. I hope you're budgeting for taxes, because a lot of us don't. And that used to be me, you guys. So don't think it's just you. I have been there before, which is why I am trying to educate you so that you don't make the mistakes I made. When we budget for all of these things, rent, taxes, supplies, all the things, what about our screw ups? Okay. What about our screw ups? Because things will go wrong. Redos, refunds, comp services are all a cost of doing business. And if one refund puts you underwater, is the client the problem, or is the business too financially fragile? And this applies way beyond hair. Contractor does crappy work, but wants the final payment. Restaurants serve something terrible but still charge, right? Business screws up your order and refuses a refund. Think about that. We know exactly how we feel when we're the customer sitting in somebody else's business. So why does it suddenly look different when we're collecting the money?
I got a ton of bills to pay.
Integrity, it gets expensive, you guys. It's easy to do the right thing when it costs nothing. What happens when doing the right thing costs you $200, $500, $1,000? That's when you find out what your values actually cost. Because we're talking about integrity here versus money. What is your value system? Sit with that. I promise you, you're going to uncover so many things. I think financial pressure can explain decision making sometimes. It doesn't necessarily excuse the decision, though, does it? I have empathy for the financial pressure. I really do, because I've been there. Like I said, I didn't wake up and have a business that was thriving. You have to work your way there, and every decision you make along the way is going to help shape your business, and you're either going to move in a direction that's healthy, or you're going to move in a direction that may destroy your business altogether. And I admire stylists in this generation of hairdressers in 2026 who have, all of the advice, the tools at your fingertips through internet, through whatever influencer you're following or whatever podcast you're listening to. This one I hope you're listening to for some of your inspiration in this business. But you have so much available to you to learn. And I really hope I really hope that you can let this sink in and leave here and take a step in the right direction today. I really do, because I have empathy for that pressure, but I still expect professionalism. Your client deserves that. So let's say you keep the money. Back to the money. You protected today's paycheck. What did that money actually cost you? A client? A referral? Your reputation? Trust? Peace of mind because you can't sleep at night? Or the worst, your name being dragged in the group chat, right? And pictures, they're showing pictures and videos about how jacked up their hair is. It could have cost you that. That's not fun. That's how you end up with the client on TikTok crying in the front seat of their car, okay? So I'm going to leave you with that, because we're going to dive deeper on the next episode where I want to go a step further, because this isn't really about refunds and comp services, is it? I think it's about something bigger. I want to talk about how much your reputation is actually worth, right? And why sometimes the most expensive money you'll ever make is the money you decide to keep. I hope that makes sense. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast app, a quick rating and review, it goes a long way. Thanks for spending a little time with me today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.